So I'd now like to introduce Mr. Will Pitkin. He is the Senior Director of Business Development at Cirtec Medical. And we really want to thank Cirtec for being our platinum sponsor at this year's event. But we also want to thank you. We also want to thank Will for being a good guy and being at events like this and just having fun and meeting entrepreneurs and meeting more established companies and just helping to grow this industry. And as he's going to talk about in a little bit, he's a young guy, but he's been around and seen a lot of successes in this industry and maybe a few failures. But we definitely would like to hear from Cirtec and from Will and hear some of your observations from your time here in the industry. So Will, take over.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And Jim, thanks again for putting on such a fantastic event. We're thrilled to be platinum sponsors for this event, as well as the one out in California in November. I look like I'm having fun because I am having fun. My background's in entrepreneurship. I think I have the best job in the world because I get to work with a lot of different well-funded startups trying to get their therapies to market. My background is actually working in the operating room. I was a rep for Stryker Spine, so in the spine group for a number of years, just putting together a lot of broken people in the operating room. And it got me kind of thinking, how do we do what we do better and help improve the quality of lives of others. So I was introduced to the world of contract manufacturing in 2013. And have never looked back. I think what we're doing is just the coolest thing ever, and it's fun being able to talk to my friends and my family about the kind of work that everyone in this room does, and how we contribute to supporting your efforts. I mean, really, as a contract manufacturer, we're, as you guys know, it's a long road, and we're always in this for the long term. So it's much more of a partnership than a contractual relationship, and that's just the way we look at it. So I just wanted to share a couple slides about Cirtec. We're a very different company than what we were in 2015 when I joined, but we've been around for a while, since 1987. So by no means are we a startup. We've done over 800 successful projects. We're currently manufacturing 20 PMA devices for our customers, we've been on a little bit of a buying spree over the last 8 years. Fortunate for me, I run the neuro group, active implants, we call it at Cirtec. And a lot of these acquisitions have been to support my division. We were about 100 employees in 2015. We're up to about 1,800 now. And we had 2 sites, and we've got 13. Just sort of a quick visual of where we're located. And this is kind of a fun story. As I said, we've done a lot of acquisitions over the years, and when we looked at the active implant market, we just kept asking ourselves, how can we be a better partner to these startup companies? And we know, timelines and budgets are really critical to the success of your projects. So we looked at the capabilities necessary to build these types of active implantable devices and said, okay, if we don't have that capability, does it make more sense to bring it up organically or go out and acquire the right company who's doing it? Our strategy really has been, when we bought companies, to keep them just the way they are. We don't try to change them, because typically they're doing a great job supporting their customers. But if they can, if we can help leverage, or they can leverage our resources as a larger company, all the better for the partners they're working with. So as you can see, quite a few acquisitions here. The company's broken down really into 3 different divisions. We've got our interventional group, our neuromod, which is the group I run, which is active implantables, and then precision components. This is our metals machining complex and precision metals group. Right now, just focusing on active implants, we are currently working with the top 4 BCI companies that are out there, helping them push their projects forward. We're working with the top 3 OSA companies with their devices, and so on and so on. So we've got a tremendous amount of experience in the space, and we really, really enjoy supporting these customers. These are just a list of sort of our capabilities. I won't really run through them all, but again, the point is, when I engage with a well-funded startup, My advice often to them is we recognize the fact that you're working with very constrained budgets. It's not like it was 8 years ago when, you could get to a certain milestone and new tranches of funding come in as an automatic. A lot more of our startup companies are having to get all the way through PMA approval, get into the market, and then show demand for their device and their therapy before that next tranche of funding comes in. So, as a contract manufacturer, whether it's Cirtec or Valentium or Ripple, we're trying to help, any way we can to help you guys, these startups get to market as quickly, as cost effectively as possible. It's Cirtec, just a long list of capabilities here around manufacturing. The point is that, our goal is literally to be a single source of supply so that we can send a finished sterile packaged good directly to our customers at the end of the day, one company to audit. And we've done a pretty good job getting there. From a quality standpoint, the design, we have, all of our 4-phase gates for development. About 24% of our company is engineers. So we've got roughly about 150 engineers, 200 engineers in the company. And that spans between quality, design, manufacturing, software, firmware, quality engineers. So you name it. They're located sort of throughout the company. Our corporate headquarters for Neuro in my group is in Minneapolis. We've got 2 sites. We call it Brooklyn Park 1 and Brooklyn Park 2. We just opened up this new facility this year. We call it our Neuromodulation Center of Excellence because we're doing IPGs, leads, and all the peripherals, both design, development, and manufacturing, all underneath one roof here, which is great. So our engineers can literally go down to the floors, work with the manufacturing engineers to really get in the nitty-gritty on some of this product development. We also manufacture a lot of active implantable devices in our Connecticut site. And then also we opened up a new site down in Costa Rica this year. One thing that we survey our customers every year, and some of the feedback we got was, hey, it'd be great if you could offer a low-cost manufacturing region. We totally recognize that as soon as our customer's product hits the market, that's the most they're ever going to get paid for that device. And then from there, it's usually some price erosion that occurs. And so as a partner, we got to figure out how to maintain each other's margins, right? Because if our customers aren't successful, we're not going to be successful. So anyway, we opened up the site in Costa Rica. We'll do leads manufacturing in Minnesota and Costa Rica, and IPGs in Connecticut as well as in Minnesota. So we're sort of we're sort of checking the risk mitigation box within Cirtec by having this sort of dual manufacturing capabilities. And so that's really all I wanted to share with you. Just a quick overview, and I hope everyone's having a great time and appreciate everything here. Thank you.
Hey, before you leave, Will, I just want to throw a question through at
you.
Oh, you were
Let me get off easy.
You were very succinct.
Yeah.
So, I was half in jest when I said, hey, Will's a young guy, but he's been around the block. You've seen a lot of successes and a few failures in the industry. So from your perspective, anything you want to share, because you see early on, you see these companies early on, you see them before we find out about them, right? We write about them maybe a year later or 2 years later, right. But you see them first. So anything that stands out when you're meeting someone for the first time or a potential, a player in this market that differentiates the ones that are going to become big successes versus the ones that might not make it. Anything that stands out in your mind?
I would say the number one by far key to success when we get approached by a partner to help develop their product is what's the status of their funding, right? Because the projects that are 100% successful are the ones that you develop a strong roadmap and project plan, and you work systematically through it to completion. When funding gaps occur, working with any contract manufacturer, teams will break up and you lose a lot of tribal knowledge that's key to the development of that product. And so I would say funding is a really big one. Also, knowing your market and the economics around your device. Early on, I was working with a large OEM who it was never communicated what their target price was. So they went through literally 4 phases of product development only to find out that basically the COGS and the labor to produce their product was 3x what the market would pay for it. I mean, and this is a large OEM we're talking about, this occurred on, and it just kind of blew my mind is how do you get to that place? You know, you got to understand what your margins are going in, and we can, and it really just drives your product development process. I mean, it's 100%. So I would say really knowing where you need to be in your COGS.
That's a good answer, but if I can follow up, when you're dealing with some of these young companies, some with a little more experience, you know, than others. Sometimes it's a clinician, sometimes it's an engineer, sometimes it's someone with business experience.
Yeah.
How do you go about giving them the advice that they need from someone who knows the industry, has seen successes and failures in the past, without becoming, you know, hypercritical? I'm sure it's a fine line you have to walk between being a supplier and being kind of an advisor. Have you found for the most part that these startups that you're dealing with are open to advice and suggestions from Cirtec?
I look at it's totally our job to, in some cases, our customers can be their own worst enemy, right? And it's our job as their partner to let them know they're going down a road that, I mean, you engaged a company like Cirtec because we've done these projects before. We know where the pitfalls are. Like, it's our job to tell you where they are and help, you know, you avoid those costly mistakes. Sometimes it's as simple, like you asked that question. I was on a call yesterday with a young startup company, and I was like, there's a textbook called New Venture Creation by Jeffrey Timmons. I had it in grad school. It's a great textbook. And it is, I showed it to them. They went out and they're like, all right, we're going to get that. So
you want to give that title again, just for people who didn't catch it?
I think it's called New Venture Creation by, I think it's Jeffrey Timmons.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from anyone in the audience or anyone on Zoom? If not, thank you very much, Will. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. Let me get you the mic.
I'm Brian Smith. I'm the chairman of that. He deserves to be made fun of, quite frankly. Actually, I was the CEO of a very large contract manufacturer headquartered in Singapore, 10,000 people to the four corners of the earth, a very good company. We work exclusively with Cirtec with certain of our product lines. I have never seen a more disciplined and well-organized front-end process than I saw at Cirtec, and everyone in our organization would say the same thing.
I didn't plant that.
Thank you, Brian.
I didn't plant that. I appreciate it.
No, there's always the cocktail hour for making fun of Will. Thank you very much.